大家都有没有收到生育津退款的短信？
Has anyone received a message asking to return their maternity subsidy? I had my child in 2023, and now my child is over 2 years old. They're asking me to pay back 17,000 yuan in maternity benefits, and they haven't given any explanation. In recent days, many mothers in Shanghai have reported receiving text messages or written notices from the medical insurance department asking them to return what they claim are overpaid maternity subsidies. These mothers include both those who gave birth this year and in previous years. Even mothers who gave birth in 2020 have been asked to refund the subsidies. The amounts range from a few thousand yuan to tens of thousands. One mother was asked to return 47,000 yuan, while another mother, who gave birth in 2022, was asked to refund 55,000 yuan. This mother, in shock, exclaimed, "The sky has collapsed, and you might as well take all my income." Before this, netizens in several provinces, including Anhui, Hubei, Shanxi, Zhejiang, Hunan, and Yunnan, reported that the authorities had stopped issuing second-child subsidies, citing merging with child-rearing benefits. In some provinces, they even demanded the return of previously issued second-child subsidies. At the time, online users expressed their anger, accusing the Chinese government of making promises to citizens, only to later withdraw the benefits. They make people believe that having more children will offer some advantages. They cancel it once the children are born. Since the children are already here, do they expect us to send them back? As China's economic decline continues, an alarming situation was brought up in October. National fiscal spending fell by nearly 20%, marking the largest drop in 4 years. The government has intensified efforts to seize private wealth. Even Shanghai, the city with the most robust fiscal condition, has begun reclaiming maternity subsidies issued in recent years. Additionally, the sharp drop in coal prices has significantly impacted the financial income of key coal-producing regions, such as Shanxi and Shanxi in October. On April 3rd this year, a mother in Shanghai posted a video online, stating that she immediately applied for maternity subsidies after leaving the hospital. 2 weeks later, the minimum subsidy of 47,000 yuan was credited to her account. In the video, she praised the local government for its efficiency. Ironically, just 6 months later, social media in mainland China was flooded with posts from people being asked to return their maternity subsidies. The reason given by Shanghai authorities for reclaiming the subsidies is even more bizarre. The local medical insurance hotline told the media that maternity benefits are based on the average monthly salary of all employees at the mother's workplace from the previous year. Now, after a review, it has been found that the actual monthly average salary at her workplace was lower than the amount used to calculate the subsidy. As a result, they are asking for the excess amount to be returned. This official explanation has sparked mockery from netizens. It's already November. Did they just finish recalculating last year's average salary? Why wasn't this an issue before? Why only now? Can someone explain how this recalculation was done? Isn't maternity insurance supposed to be paid by maternity insurance contributions of everyone? Some independent media outlets have criticized the authorities, saying that once the money was given to parents, it had already been spent on things like milk powder and diapers. Now they are being asked to return it. How are they supposed to do that? The article goes on to say that many families budget carefully for child rearing, often motivated by the fact that others receive real tangible money every month. But now, after having their children, they are being asked to return the subsidy. The subsidy was just an empty promise. What if parents don't have the money to return? Will the Social Security and medical insurance departments have no solution? Will they start taking houses or other assets? Some parents might wish they could return their children, but that's not possible. However, the authorities would definitely find a way to get the money back. One netizen pointed out that the once infamous family planning policy has now turned into a money-grabbing movement. The authorities are clearly out of money, and things aren't looking good. On November 17th, the Chinese Ministry of Finance released fiscal data for the first 10 months of the year. According to Bloomberg's calculations, government expenditure fell by 19% in October compared to the previous year, totaling 2.37 trillion yuan. This marks the largest drop since comparable data became available in early 2021 and the lowest level since July 2023. According to CNBC, Goldman Sachs analysis shows that China's fixed asset investment in October dropped by 11.4%, marking the weakest performance since the start of the pandemic in 2020. Bloomberg believes that the sharp decline in fiscal payments in October has intensified the drag on China's economy caused by weak consumption and sluggish exports. Professor Li Jianjun, Dean of the School of Finance and Taxation at Southwest University of Finance and Economics, told Yitai that most provinces have faced pressure on fiscal income growth this year, with signs of divergence. In the context of low growth in revenues, fiscal spending has also shown slow growth, with cities like Tianjin and Zhejiang experiencing negative growth. Tianjin, a directly administered municipality, reported fiscal spending of 229.2 billion yuan, a 9% year-on-year decline, just 3.4 billion yuan more than Tibet's 225.8 billion yuan. Yitai found that as of November 17, 28 provinces have published fiscal income and expenditure data for the first 3 quarters of the year, except for Guangdong, Xinjiang, and Heilongjiang. In Shanxi, local general public budget revenue dropped by 8.9% in the first 3 quarters, and in Shanxi, it decreased by 7%. Shanxi's Department of Finance data reveals that all 4 major taxes, value-added tax, corporate income tax, resource tax, and personal income tax, showed declines. Resource tax, directly linked to coal prices, fell by 13.4%, domestic value-added tax dropped by 4.5%, corporate income tax decreased by 6.8%, and personal income tax fell by 5.9%. In the 10 cities of Shanxi, Yulin, an area rich in coal resources, saw a drop of 17.5%. The power industry is facing pressure from the rise of renewable energy generation, leading to weak demand for thermal power and a decline in coal demand. At the same time, sectors like real estate and other non-electric industries have remained sluggish for an extended period, reducing demand for coal in industries like steel and building materials. In the first half of this year, coal prices in China have faced downward pressure. The price of 5,500 kilocalorie thermal coal at Qinhuangdao Port dropped to 618 yuan per ton in early June, a decrease of about 262 yuan per ton from the peak at the beginning of the year. The spot price at ports around the Bohai Sea also fell to around 620 yuan per ton, a year-on-year decrease of nearly 30%. Shanxi, Shanxi, and Inner Mongolia are China's top 3 coal-producing provinces. The sharp drop in coal prices has inevitably lowered corporate profits and impacted provincial fiscal revenues. Except for Guangdong, the top fiscal province which has yet to disclose data, the provinces with the highest revenue, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Shanghai, and Shandong, have all seen fiscal revenue growth between 1% and 2%. Amid fiscal pressure, the authorities have turned their focus to e-commerce, triggering strong reactions within the industry. Sellers have expressed widespread anxiety, noting that the issue of e-commerce taxes has never caused as much concern as it does now. Since the tax reporting notice issued in late October, many e-commerce sellers have been losing sleep over the new requirements. On November 17, a Shanghai-based e-commerce operator told the media that business is becoming more difficult. With high sales volumes, his business has automatically upgraded to a general taxpayer, and now he must pay taxes, significantly increasing costs. He explained, many sellers will go bankrupt. E-commerce has always been tough. Before, sellers didn't pay taxes, and they competed by lowering prices. Now that prices are bottomed out, with taxes, prices will inevitably go up. In Yiwu, many sellers went bankrupt due to e-commerce tax. They were already working on slim profit margins, and after paying taxes, they couldn't survive. He added, for example, If you were selling something for 10 yuan, you could still make some profit without paying taxes, but once taxes are due, there's no profit left. The competition was already fierce, and with taxes, there's no margin. He further reviewed, a store in Yiwu which sold millions was doing well just a few months ago, but now it's struggling. The market conditions domestically are bad. I asked about the orders in Yiwu, and they said there are still some from abroad, mainly from the Arab world and the Middle East. On June 23, the Chinese authorities introduced new regulations requiring platforms like WeChat and Alipay to report tax-related information of platform operators and employees to the tax department. This regulation covers e-commerce, food delivery, online ordering, online payments, and various other platform services, including WeChat mini programs. Starting October 1, 2025, platforms must begin reporting data quarterly. Platforms like Amazon officially notified sellers in mid-October to begin reporting data. Alibaba's AliExpress, Pinduoduo's cross-border e-commerce platform Temu, and Shein Group have already submitted their data. Since November, many sellers have started receiving tax reminders and notifications about discrepancies in their data. Chinese media reports that tax retroactive checks for 1 to 3 years have already occurred in Jiangxi, Jiangsu, Henan, and in cities like Zhongshan and Foshan in Guangdong. An e-commerce furniture business owner, Mr. Yang from Suzhou, Jiangsu, who owns a factory, said, "I was required to pay additional taxes because the amount I reported to the platform and sent to the tax department on October 27 didn't match. The tax department found the discrepancy through big data and required me to pay. I paid over 280,000 yuan in taxes plus a few hundred yuan in late fees, though I'm not sure why." Mr. Yang runs a small furniture business on platforms like JD.com and Pinduoduo. He believes that with taxes, e-commerce prices will inevitably rise. Before, there was no tax. Now with tax, you have to give up some of your profit to pay. The only option is to raise prices. The e-commerce tax is still being implemented, but once all checks are done, prices will definitely go up next quarter. Most sellers who have already paid taxes are preparing to raise prices. Another e-commerce business owner who deals in large furniture said he is classified as a general taxpayer. With quarterly revenue over 1.5 million yuan, he must pay a 13% VAT, which amounts to 190,000 yuan in taxes, making it hard for him to continue. He mentioned that previously, taxes were based on invoice amount. For example, if an invoice exceeded 300,000 yuan, taxes would apply. But now, e-commerce taxes are calculated based on total revenue, which he finds somewhat unreasonable. The overall situation is tough everywhere in the country, and now with these taxes, e-commerce is almost impossible to run. We've been in business for 8 years with our own factory, and it feels a shame to stop. So we'll just keep going, one step at a time. According to Securities Times, small and medium-sized sellers are the most affected by the new e-commerce taxes. Some of these sellers lack a proper financial system and are operating in a grey area of tax regulation. A popular influencer on the platform strongly advised small and medium-sized businesses not to blindly pay taxes, urging them to resist unreasonable tax fees.
E-commerce tax is here. E-commerce is doomed. Are you all shocked? Now you're probably busy researching split payment systems and sales models, right? Are you thinking about changing your business entity or something? Hey, listen to me. I'll explain it all in one video, and you'll see things clearly. So there are just 3 main taxes, right? Let's talk about the VAT. Take a look at your shop. Do you have a sales volume of 5 million? You're just a small scale business. You haven't even hit the threshold for VAT. Then there's corporate income tax. Do you have 300 employees? Is your annual profit 3 million? Do you have assets worth 50 million? You're just a small business. So how do small businesses pay? 5%. But honestly, you don't even need to pay the 5%. Do the math. Look at your after-sales costs, commissions, promotion expenses. Add it all up, you're losing money. If you're losing money, how can you pay corporate income tax? And don't even mention personal tax. You're drowning in debt, and you're still worrying about paying taxes? If I were the tax bureau and I knew you were in e-commerce, I'd probably want to throw some money your way. You're worried about tax problems. but the tax bureau is actually worried about your livelihood. Remember, when the tax bureau comes to check, it's actually a good thing for you. They'll probably help you apply for social welfare.
A furniture business owner in Hebei who provides loans to e-commerce sellers stated, "Paying taxes now means the country is out of money, not the tax bureau. Those who understand the situation know what I mean, but I can't say no more." An overseas person commented on X, "The party always targets the weak. Any boss with a bit of power has offshore accounts, shell companies, and complex ownership structures to evade taxes. The amount of tax evasion is astronomical. Small business owners in Yiwu don't have these capabilities, so they're the ones who get hit. The party's taxes are always about robbing the poor to benefit the rich." The sharp drop in government fiscal revenue has also directly impacted the banking sector. Recently, several Chinese banks, including Agricultural Bank of China, China Construction Bank, and Bank of Communications, have been rapidly offloading large amounts of non-performing real estate assets, drawing attention in the market. Real estate brokers have reviewed the banks urgently need to deal with the growing number of bad assets to stem losses and recover funds. Most of these properties come from businesses or individuals who have defaulted on their mortgages. After being recovered through judicial processes, the banks bypass the traditional foreclosure process and sell the properties directly online under the label Bank Direct Supply, with prices sometimes slashed by up to 70%. On asset trading platforms, the Bank Direct Supply label is extremely prominent, with properties available in both major cities and small countries offering significant discounts. On Double 11, the biggest sale day in China, a 176 square meter apartment in Harbin was auctioned off for just 315,000 yuan, only 1,800 yuan per square meter. The same model in the same complex typically costs 3,700 yuan per square meter. Mr. Chen, a real estate agent in Shenzhen, told reporters that the direct sale of properties by banks will definitely drive down housing prices. During the 2021 to 2022 period, when foreclosed properties were sold at 70% of market value, the entire neighborhood's average transaction price was lowered. However, price isn't the only issue. Mr. Chen pointed out that the current property market is one where there are prices but no market. Mr. Wang, a real estate consultant in Hefei, Anhui, said that banks directly selling properties is closely related to their decades of real estate lending, which accounts for 60% of their total loans. He explained that the growing number of foreclosed properties is also increasing the bank's bad debt, which in turn raises the risk to the financial system. Mr. Wu, a real estate agent in Wuxi, also noted that direct sales by banks have become a hot topic recently, with some cities already implementing this practice. Some banks now hold large amounts of defaulted properties. He explained that the bank's main goal is to recover funds quickly, which is why they're selling properties at steep discounts, sometimes 70%, 50%, or even 30% of the original price. This approach will certainly impact both housing prices and current sellers. While bank direct sales have existed for some time, the number of such properties has surged in recent years, with some banks listing thousands of properties. Mainland media analysis suggests that the increase in bank-led property sales is linked to the ongoing downturn in the real estate market, with the rising number of defaulted and debt-repossessed properties. The slow and tedious foreclosure process has pushed banks to find faster ways to liquidate assets. Despite the economic downturn, the Chinese government has not taken any effective measures to control the situation. However, Hu Xijin, former editor-in-chief of the widely criticized state-run Global Times, has proposed a so-called solution to the authorities. On May 26 this year, Hu Xijin posted on Weibo, notoriously claiming that sexual deprivation is a major problem that deserves significant attention and in-depth research. Hu argued if young people experience sexual decline, their desires will inevitably decrease. Men will prefer staying at home after work, and women will lose interest in buying beautiful clothes. We must admit that sex is an important medium of consumption. He further stated, "Don't be too strict on sexual issues," and opposed the old idea that lust is the root of all evil. The definitions of pornography and obscene should not be too broad, as this may harm the environmental factors that sex requires. In short, we must consider human nature and carefully examine this issue from the perspective of consumption and governance. Following this post, Hu was swiftly criticized by netizens, and he immediately deleted the post. One user commented, "Case solved. We found the reason many people can't get rich. He just wants to legalize pornography, right? He's not afraid of the consequences." Another said, "As a top opinion leader, he ignores real issues like employment and income distribution and instead uses pornography to grab attention. What the public wants isn't a comedian, but real insights that address the core problems." Some users pointed out that mainland Chinese netizens may have underestimated Hu Xijin. They argued that what he said reflects the true thinking of the Chinese Communist Party. According to them, the party's method of governing is through lies and violence to control the public, corruption and pornography to buy off officials and their subordinates, and by destroying moral values to oppose righteousness and goodness. This, they believe, is the true nature of the Communist Party. As the economy needs collapse, social unrest intensifies, and basic livelihoods are no longer guaranteed, the party's nature has been fully exposed.